Hi, it's Bill Ethier of the Properties in Victoria Professionals Real Estate Team, standing out in front of Callum Greig's office at Prime Mortgage Works. Going to head inside and chat with him today about mortgages, maybe what's new, what's old, or what's come back in style. So look forward to seeing you inside. Hi, here we are with Callum Greig at Prime Mortgage Works, sitting inside his office here on Yates Street. Going to just chat with Callum a little bit about mortgages and what he's seeing out in the mortgage world. Thanks, Callum, for taking the time to sit down with us today and discuss mortgages and all things mortgage.
Absolutely a pleasure, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Great. Couple things just start off here is what are you seeing out there in the mortgage world? If we go back to 2018 where we saw the stress test come in, which seemed to affect a lot of purchasers at that time who had to qualify at different rates. That's almost a little over 2 years ago now that came in. What are you seeing out there as far as mortgages go?
Great question. I mean, the stress test was definitely a game changer, though the Canadian mortgage marketplace is not immune to change. And Canadian borrowers, luckily, are very resilient. The stress test has definitely had an effect on who can get into the market, when they can get into the market. For the most part, it's absolutely made its way through the marketplace now. I don't think it's a big deterrent necessarily for most buyers. At the same time, I know locally in Victoria we've got limited listings, as it would seem,
Yep.
And I think that's where the stress test actually has an effect. It's stopping those people from doing the moving up.
Yeah.
The people from the starter condo moving up to the starter home, the people that are looking to move out of the starter home into the bigger home, because they're having to qualify at a rate that's so much higher than the actual rate they're paying. So it's definitely made its way through the mortgage marketplace. The federal government's talking about maybe doing a tweak or a change.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that'll be done in time for the spring market, but at the same time, I know it's something that the government's really looking at. So.
Okay. When buyers are coming in now, or first-time people, or maybe it's been 10 or 15 years since you've purchased a property, are the people coming in to see you or talking about mortgages, are they surprised by this, or do you find that most people right now understand this new rules in place?
Yeah, for the most part, people understand there's a new qualifying or stress test in place. The bigger question is, they're saying, do I fit inside this stress, or do I have to fit inside this test? Because of course these people have already had their mortgages, they've already qualified at some point, and frankly they've done very well with paying the mortgage down and enjoyed some property appreciation. So they've absolutely heard about it, and some are a little surprised that they have to qualify in it. But at the same time, those people that started 5, 6, maybe 10 years ago have had that natural progression of income,
mm-hmm.
that natural progression of equity and mortgage debt paying down, that a lot of times they're fitting just fine.
Okay, so it's more affecting the first-time home buyers, or people just entering into the market.
Absolutely affecting the first-time home buyers, requiring the bank of mom and dad to step in,
mm-hmm.
and not even necessarily with down payment help, as it's traditionally been. It's more so the income help. So
Okay.
how do we get them up over that stress test? And this is where we have to tie mom and dad onto the mortgage, onto the title, just by utilizing their income to help us get over that stress test. So.
Okay. When people come in now, I know when we sit down and talk with buyers, maybe they haven't gone to the mortgage broker yet, which we highly recommend. That's one of the first things you do in the house hunting, because you got to determine what you can afford and what you can comfortably afford over a monthly payment period. So if someone's going to ring you up or call or get through you online, what are some of the things that they should do to have themselves better prepared, so when they actually start looking at houses, they understand where they qualify? Because I know if you walk in, some people can walk into a bank, the bank person could say to them, oh yeah, you could borrow $400,000, but it's not as simple as that. There's a few other things in there that could raise that rate or lower that rate. So what are people needing to do before they start, or what are some things they should have in order?
Yeah, great question. So important in today's market. Sellers are serious, buyers are serious, mortgage professionals and realtors alike are serious about doing the business. And so with that in mind, buyers have to be serious with having their ducks in a row. And ducks in a row means making sure your taxes are filed and up to date. Be prepared to provide more documents than you have in the past. And our regulatory regime that is in place, things are tighter than they've ever been. It's never been more tighter to get a mortgage now than it has been in the past. And so be prepared to provide letters of employment if you're salaried, current pay stub, proof of that down payment, where that money's come from. It's forever tightening a little bit here, a little bit there. The sooner you can provide that documentation to your experienced mortgage professional at Prime Mortgage Works, then the more prepared we're going to have you and ready to go. And I say to my clients all the time, get me the documents up front, we're 90% done. It allows you to focus onto finding the house you really want to get into, and then when it comes time to have a contract in place, that contract is the last 10%. We can have your approval with all those documents already picked up. We can have that approval within 48 to 72 hours. The house is yours and we're done. Mm-hmm. It can be that easy.
Yeah, because it's nothing more disappointing to a buyer going in thinking they can afford something, and then as they go through the subject condition period where you're getting your financing in order, and all of a sudden you find out that there's something lurking in the closet from the past that comes out and kneecaps you at that time and able to get a mortgage.
Great point. I mean, it's you wouldn't build a house, you wouldn't show up on day one with a bunch of lumber and no foundation. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the foundation when it comes to getting approved for the mortgage is absolutely the paperwork. Yeah. We build that foundation, then we throw on the contract, and it can be quick. Don't take the word of the person you stop by their desk and say, hey, can I get a mortgage? Yeah, you're good for it. Actually take the time to provide the documentation, get that assurance from your experienced mortgage professional, and set yourself up for success, really.
Great. So that's some good takeaways there. So let's get your mortgage broker, your mortgage professional, or give Callum a call, or somebody like Callum, or Callum in particular, to start doing that homework for you up front, because it's always nice to know, maybe you can't buy today, but maybe it's 3 or 4 more months down the road that you need to improve some of your credit, and then you can start shopping, because you don't want to fall in love with something and then find out you can't have it at the end, which would be disappointing. So one of the hot topics today, Callum, in the world of purchasing properties, particularly condos and strata condos, is insurance. Now, we've seen a lot of articles in the newspaper which talk about insurance rates in condos going up between 50 and 300%, and then there's this whole thing about water deductibles and damage in the buildings, and then there's, is it affecting mortgages? Is it affecting any qualifying for people for mortgage? There's some buildings where people can't get a mortgage on because the building insurance is so poor, because insurance is a key factor for a bank to loan money, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. The lender assumes you're going to be insured. Without the insurance, there's no mortgage. So it's invariably important to have that confirmation that the property can be insured. With respect to the hot topic of the day, I haven't seen or heard much in the way from lenders as of yet. However, that's not to say that it may not come up in time. But keep in mind also, lenders do a lot of due diligence and a lot of underwriting ahead of time when it comes to approving you for that particular property. There, and myself as well, as an experienced mortgage professional, are pouring through the strata minutes, depreciation reports, strata contingency funds, and affirming that the building you're purchasing has adequate funds in place to pay that insurance deductible, to pay the insurance premium as it goes along. So it's absolutely part of the underwriting process to make sure that you're getting into and buying a property that's not going to be just good for the next year, but good for the next 5 years, 10 years, and 25 years. With respect to the insurance question, there's always little blips and changes in the market, and I think this is a temporary change or a temporary adjustment. Will it become more expensive to have that insurance provided? There's a good chance of that, but there's also a better chance of it being easily absorbed into a well-funded strata building if the ducks are already in a row there. So I think it's a short-term blip, and it's something that's going to be sorted out and felt through the 30,000 strata units in BC. So I don't think it's in any way a death knell or anything like that to condo buildings.
Just a hot topic today.
Absolutely. Yeah, appreciate that.
Great.
For sure.
Well, Callum, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us today. And if someone was looking to reach out or is in need of a mortgage broker, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I mean, check us out at primemortgageworks.com, or certainly Google Prime Mortgage Works, and you'll be able to easily find us here on Yates Street.
Great. Thanks, Callum. Take care. Have a great day, everybody.
Appreciate it.